Hi everyone, Ashley here and welcome to another video on the Penguin Palace Stamps YouTube channel. This is a very exciting video because it's my first video showcasing some of the new supplies from their latest release. There are a lot of really cute stamps and dies in this release, and I'm so excited to show them all to you throughout the week. So without further ado, let's get into it. For this card, I'm using their new stamp set called My BFF, which has a bunch of really adorable images, mostly involving cats, which I love. I actually have 2 cats, so I love any stamp set that has cats in it. But it also has some bunnies and some eggs and some cute little springtime images with a variety of really adorable sentiments. I knew that I wanted to put all of these images onto a really bold and vibrant, colorful background, and I went with a rainbow because I thought that it would be nice for the spring theme. I decided to make it kind of a pastel rainbow by choosing pastel colors of Distress Oxide ink. So the colors of ink that I chose for my rainbow are Spun Sugar in pink, Dried Marigold as the orange, Scattered Straw as the yellow, Shabby Shutters as the green, Tumbled Glass as the blue, and Milled Lavender as the purple. And as you can see, I'm just blending each one on in a horizontal line along the card front. So from top to bottom there, you can see the horizontal line starting to take shape with each color. And I'm doing that just using some foam applicator tools that are sold separately, but they're also made by Tim Holtz, so they're kind of made to use with these Distress Oxide inks. Next, I knew I wanted to have a panel that made it look like grass, so I'm just blending some Distress Oxide ink in Lucky Clover, which is this beautiful bold green, onto a separate piece of paper, which I'm then going to die cut out to act as the piece of grass on the card scene. I wanted to add some layers of splatter to the background, just to add a little bit of interest. So I took out a watercolor pan that comes with a variety of different colors of pearlescent watercolor. I just added some water right into the pans and then put it onto an acrylic block with a paintbrush. I then splattered out that paint onto the paper directly using my paintbrush, just by holding the block over the piece of paper and then using my paintbrush to splatter it out. I used a scrap piece of paper to cover up the different parts of the background that I didn't want that splatter hitting, so that I could focus the red paint onto the red background and the yellow paint onto the yellow part of the background, and so on. I then went through every color, so I used a pink, a yellow, a green, and a blue splatter until I got all of the different colors of splatter laid out. I also splattered some of that same green color onto the panel of grass, just so that it also had that matching kind of splattered effect. And then finally, I went back to my rainbow panel and added a final touch of blue splatter onto the bottom to finish off that rainbow of splatter. To amp up the splatter effect even more, I took a little bit of liquid stardust, which is just a clear, shimmery, glittery liquid, and I also splattered that out onto both surfaces, so both the card background and the layer of grass. And this just gives an extra layer of extra sparkle that is clear, so it's not colored, but it is very, very sparkly. And you'll see that at the end when I sort of turn the card in the light, really how shimmery and sparkly of an effect you get from this. It's really, really pretty. Lastly, I added a layer of white splatter. So I just took a bit of white paint and I dabbed it onto my acrylic block, mixed it with a little bit of water, and splattered it out onto the card panel, the background and the grass, just the same way as all the other colors. So overall, I added splatter in 4 different colors, as well as in that liquid stardust and in white. And this, I thought, gave it a lot of nice dimension. So next it's time to color in all of these beautiful images from the My BFF stamp set, which I went ahead and stamped in black ink off camera. I just used a Copic-friendly black ink and some Copic-friendly white paper so that I can color them in with my Copic markers. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the video here so that you can watch the coloring come together, and you can see how these adorable images come to life when you add colors to them. So feel free to keep watching the video and I'll add some music if you want to watch the coloring, but if not, you'll also feel free to skip ahead and you'll see the rest of the card come together after. Okay, so now that all the coloring is done, off camera I went ahead and also die cut out all of those images with the coordinating dies. Now I'm stamping out the sentiment, and I'm just using one of the sentiments that came in the stamp set, the My BFF stamp set. I cut out a white banner just out of some white paper, and I'm just lining up the sentiment strip on top of it, and I can use that MISTI to sort of angle it a little bit so that it actually fits on the shape of that banner. The sentiment that I picked says, "Thank you for being a great friend," but there are a wide variety of sentiments that actually come in this set that are all really nice, and a lot of that are very spring themed and Easter themed as well. So off camera, I also went ahead and used a die cut to cut out that hillside border from that green panel to make it look like grass. Then I can take the background that I had inked up as a rainbow and just adhere it right down onto a white card base using some liquid glue. Just using some Tombow Mono Multi Glue here, and I can really then sort of shift it around and make sure that it lines up perfectly with that card base. So that the top of the rainbow at the top of the card is the pink, and then it goes down to the purple at the bottom. I'm just really pressing down to make sure that that's nice and stuck down onto the card base. Once that's stuck down, I can then use some fun foam to adhere that layer of grass onto the front of the card as well. And I just fun foam here because I wanted that layer of grass to be a little bit elevated, just to add a little bit of extra dimension and interest to the card. So once I've adhered fun foam to both sides, I can stick one side down into the grass and then the other side down onto the card base, creating that beautiful layered look of grass that is slightly elevated from the base of the card. But be careful, once you stick down fun foam, it is stuck down, especially when you use double-sided tape, so you want to make sure you have your positioning exactly correct. Once that's done, it's then time to adhere all of the other images onto the card. So I went ahead and sort of lined them all up onto the card front in a way that I thought was sort of interesting and fun, like they were all interacting together in this really cute little scene. And I placed a lot of the cloud images up in the sky too to fill in that space. I can then adhere all of these little images down onto the card, and I use a mixture of glue and foam squares for this, elevating some of the images with foam squares and sticking some down with liquid glue so that they lie flat. And I often do this just to add a little bit of visual interest so that not everything is flat, but not everything is elevated, so that different things kind of stick out and kind of draw your eye into them. So I'm just continuing to adhere everything down to the front of the card. And if there are little bits that stick off that elevated grass layer, then I'll just use a bit of liquid glue to stick down the bottom to the grass and then use a foam square to kind of adhere the rest to the base of the card there, so that they stay nice and even. So that is the card with everything adhered. The final step I chose to do was then to add a little bit of extra sparkle. I can't resist adding a little bit of extra sparkle whenever possible by adding a few sequins around, and I just sort of artfully placed them in a random way and then glued them down with some liquid glue using my tweezers to hold them in place. So that is the card for today. I'm going to turn it in the light here so you can see how shimmery and sparkly it is, and a lot of that does come from that liquid stardust that I splattered onto the card base in the grass layer, but you can also see the beautiful shine from the sequins. I hope that you enjoyed this video today. This new stamp set is super adorable, and I'm sure lots of other cards will be made with it soon for you to get some inspiration. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you here next time. Bye!